So you wanted to come on and talk about your mayor, the city who's the mayor of city of South Fulton, Mayor Khalid Kamau. That's how you pronounce his last name?
Well, he calls himself Kobe now, Mayor Kobe.
Mayor Kobe. Okay. Well, he has been hitting the news outlets now for the past month. And I came first across him and I actually did a video. Apparently he took a trip to Africa, and that made headlines because, I guess he was using funds that wasn't authorized, and he kind of had some issues with the city council or with the city complaints. However, you wanted to come on and I guess to maybe set the record straight of what exactly is going on in the city of South Fulton.
Well, just to give you a little background about the city of South Fulton, the city of South Fulton is 8 years old, established in 2017. We have in the community had several community groups to advocate to form the city. We were the last part of unincorporated Fulton County that was remaining. Everyone else had, municipalized. So we had about 100,000 residents that were under Fulton County governance, and you had 7 commissioners, and not any of them lived in the footprints of our city. So you had people making decisions that was invested in our community, and we were basically paying for our services, police, for municipal services. And so we were basically receiving services. We were getting it was taxation without representation. And so, to make a long story short, in 2013, House Representative Roger Bruce and then Senator James on the senator side introduced the cityhood bill for us to create a city. It took us 5 years. It took us 5 long years. And we finally got the referendum. We went to the people approved the city. We elected our first mayor and council in 2017. We have the largest African American population in the United States, and that's what he touts on. We have a lot of opportunity. We have the most undeveloped land in Fulton County. We are financially viable. We just passed a $200 million budget, but we have a lot of needs. We lack economic development. We lack family entertainment, and it was because there was not a lot of emphasis put on this area by people who once governed us. And so people want immediate gratification, and people want to see our city move forward, and we are moving forward. We're doing a lot of good things, but this negative publicity is overshadowing the good things that we're doing in the city. And we are a city council, city manager form of government. What does that mean? That means that the city manager is the most important person in the city. She or he runs the daily operations, and the council create policy, oversee budget, and anything that happens in the city mostly happens by a majority vote. The mayor is considered ceremonial. He does have veto powers. He is supposed to be the ambassador of the city, but he is supposed to be the ambassador for the things that we collectively agree on by majority vote. So he's not supposed to just go off and do his own thing. And we are bound by the charter. We have a state charter that outlines our duties, our responsibilities, our fiduciary responsibilities. And he has violated several policies, misused public funds, and violated the trust of residents, and just have not been a good steward of taxpayers' dollars. And
so I want to ask you, how has he misused government funds, city funds?
So I want to be careful about some of the things that I say, because it is under investigation, and we do have an ethics complaint underway. But some of the things that have already been put out is like he has taken public funds and purchased a pool table to put in his office. We found out that he was taking all of these international trips. And one of the most recent trips that he took 20. He was over there in Ghana for 21 days, and he went to the Olympics in Paris. He went to Colombia twice. I mean, these are things that he has said on the record publicly. And in his mind, because we have the largest African American population, he wants to make the city Wakanda. And so that's what he said on the record.
Yeah. So what is wrong? What is wrong with that? Because sometimes some mayors or city officials, they do go overseas, and it is to bring back some type of economic empowerment. I've read that, the purpose of him going to Ghana was for economic development, to bring back a data center, warehouse jobs, and also do a collab when it comes to the film industry. And I do know Atlanta is like the second Hollywood. So the film industry is very popular in Atlanta. So why is that a problem for a mayor to go on those trips if it's to bring back economic resources for the city?
The main problem is we are a city council, city manager form of government. He did not have that discussion with the city council. That is not a part of our economic development strategic plan. And see, in 2020, we hired a company, and the company came in and did an analysis of our demographics and analysis of our economic development demographic, and gave recommendations on how we're supposed to move forward and steer economic development. And we are moving in a lot of those directions. And so if the mayor had a desire to go out and seek economic development in international countries, the first person he should have spoken to is our city manager and the council and our economic development director. We have an economic development director that makes over six figures. That's his job. His job is to steer economic development. He has not spoken not once to our economic development director, and that has been confirmed.
So do he has to get permission, or are you saying that he should have had some type of dialogue?
He should have had some type of dialogue. He should have presented his proposal to council, to the economic development director. He should have said, look, this is what I want to do. These are some of the countries that I want to visit. This is my plan. And let us agree on whether or not we want him to focus on that or not. Because right now, what we did adopt and agree on is the economic development strategic plan, which has 5 recommendations and an action plan on how we're supposed to move forward. International trade and commerce and travel is not one of the recommendations. We're only 8 years old. Some of the things that we have done is we created a development authority. We have 2. We have a downtown development authority. We have a citywide development authority. We have tax allocation districts. We have 2 tax allocation districts to incentivize developers to do business here. We have a convention bureaus, a visitors bureau board. That board promotes our city. And in essence, we're trying to take care of our business first. And we want to put ourselves in a position where people will come to us. We don't want to have to travel across the country to make business come to us. We don't have to. The backbone of America is small business. We have a lot of small businesses that we can incentivize to bring into our area. And so
let me ask you this. When he came back from Ghana, did he come back saying, this is the business deals that I made, or that, did he come back with any type of tangibles, any type of plan, any type of networking and connections?
He did not come back with any information. He did bring us some nice little leather fans that he purchased as souvenirs. We didn't even know he was over in Ghana. We didn't know he was over in Ghana. We found out because an engaged resident noticed him posting party videos in Africa. And the resident reached out and said, what is the mayor in Africa doing? This seems like a personal trip. And I said, well, I didn't know he was in Africa. And so this resident did an open record request. And when we got back from our retreat in January, he had posted this open record request on social media, and it revealed that he had all of these charges for, you know, international trips, pool tables, drones, and it was just outlandish. And that's what sparked, you know, we went to our city manager and we said, did you know all of this was going on? And she said she and the city attorney advised him not to get the pool table, but he did it anyway. Mm-hmm. She said she didn't know he was taking all of these trips. He told her he was going on vacation. So she had no idea he was over in Ghana for 20 days. And so we found out through an open record request. And then we started digging into more information. We found out he had taken an employee on some of the trips, and we are not supposed to have staff report to us directly. And so, you know, it's sad.
Let me throw this in there.
Let me ask a question here. Has he submitted any reports at all?
He finally, and that's another thing, when all of this stuff came out, he had over 100 missing receipts.
So he has submitted no reports. I'm not talking about just the money spent. I'm talking
reports. No.
Contacts he's made, potential business arrangements, networks, nothing. Does he have staff?
He has two individuals that support his office.
So what do they do?
Well, one is a chief of staff. One, he had them classified as a film and media manager. He circumvented
the Hollywood background, the film and media manager.
Well, that has since been reclassified because he wasn't supposed to do that. He did that. He directed staff to do that. So
okay, now let me ask you a question. Did any of them advance far enough in school to write a report, mayor or the two staff he's got?
Yes, they have, but we haven't received anything.
Well, no, I said, did they advance far enough in school to write a report? You haven't gotten any. And how many years has he been in office?
8 years.
So he's been in for 8 years, and in 8 years, you don't have any reports except little not spontaneous videos. That's all you've had in 8 years. Obviously, yes. He didn't go far enough in school to learn how to write, so you don't have any written reports.
Nope, we don't have any written reports.
So how many businesses have come to Atlanta area or South Fulton as a result of his efforts in 8 years?
We haven't received any. I have not seen any benefit to the city.
So how does he justify all of this?
In my opinion, he can't. In my opinion, it was all personal.
He said it was for business, but if it was for business, then he would have had reports what he had done, but he has none.
Right.
So has he come back and requested a hearing with the council so that he can brief them on what advantages are to come out of his traveling?
No. The only thing he has attempted to do is try to bring forth some sister city legislation.
Okay, what sister city are you supposed to have a relationship with? Corrupt Memphis, Tennessee, to get to be a bigger cabal?
We don't have a relationship with any international countries. We don't have
with any American cities, any domestic cities.
No, we don't.
So you don't. So what has he been doing again?
What has he produced in the 8 years that's going to bring economic empowerment to the city of South Fulton? Where's the results?
There is none.
So he's been paid to sit in the office, but how much extra has been paid for him to travel, which in 8 years has produced zero result?
Right. He has spent over, if you calculate over the past 2 years, he has spent over over 10,000 in travel, and that's being modest. It's probably more than that because
that's going to cost more than that 10 years.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just bought a couple of airline tickets to DC and to Atlanta. I'll be there
right.
this weekend for some function on the 22nd. I'm not mistaken, some masquerade ball. But let me ask you this: what is his justification for the pool table? Just to start with the small stuff.
I heard he said he wanted the pool table because that's the way people make deals, over pool tables.
Well, I don't make deals over pool tables, and what the hell has that got to do with sitting down and doing business? So
Look,
who is he dealing with?
I don't know.
Pool I've heard golf, but I've never heard anybody requiring a pool table to make a deal. So just who is he targeting?
I don't know who he's targeting. I don't know what deals he's thinking about making over. It was not a permissible use. And the city attorney told him that, and the city manager told him that, but he did it anyway.
You just reported that. But let me ask you a question. There's video out there circulating that appears to be him, and it looks like he's smoking some kind of pipe that is affiliated with smoking crack.
Right.
Is that supposed to be him, allegedly?
That is him, and that video was circulating before he was even mayor.
So
he was a crack smoker before you guys elected him as mayor?
That's correct.
Is he using this money that seems to be going for nothing to support his apparent habit of smoking crack? Is that what it is? That gets expensive, you know.
I would hope not. You know, well, I don't know.
You have lots of money that's disappearing. He's been partying over there. He sends back videos of him dancing and flashing money, cash, on some of the videos, and he has produced nothing. Then, I mean, vacation for 21 days at the city expense. How many other employees in the city or the state get a paid vacation? Not just they continue to get their pay during the vacation period, but somebody's paying for the vacation itself and their activities. How many people in Georgia have a benefit like that?
Well, I would tell you, I've been on the city council for 8 years, and I've never taken an international trip. I'm just
saying, is there any official in the state of Georgia who has not only the continuation of his or her salary during a vacation period, but whatever governmental entity they're supposed to be serving pays for the actual travel on the vacation, the hotel accommodation on the vacation, and the festivities of the vacation? Is there anybody in Georgia that you know that has that?
No, I don't. I've never heard of a mayor going anywhere for 21 days and not notifying their council or their pro tem.
Now, do you have a city or attorney or municipal attorney?
We do.
Why has that individual not filed an action against this mayor for an accounting?
Well, the city attorney did recommend for us, because when all of this came to surface, we have to give due process. So the city attorney did recommend for a forensic audit to be done, due to her analysis along with this, the CFO. They noticed some questionable expenditures, and so they did recommend that we do a forensic audit over his questionable expenses and a overall comprehensive audit on everyone who has a P card. So everyone is going to be audited at this point.
P card? People don't know what that is.
So a purchase card is
purchase card. Okay.
That's how we expense. That's how we make our purchases. That's how we expend our budget.
So everybody on the city council and the mayor's office is going to be audited for a P card.
Yes, everyone in the city of South Fulton that has a P card, their P card is going to be audited, but his is going to have some forensic audit.
Why do they have one?
To expense budgets. So when we
let me ask you a question. Does the general city of Atlanta issue P cards?
No, everybody does things different.
Okay, does the governor's office issue a P card?
I don't know,
Well,
but I'm
why
pretty sure.
is Fulton, South Fulton, as a city, apparently the only institution in Georgia that issues these credit cards instead of having the
We're not the only institution in
city?
Georgia.
What's that? Well,
No,
how come it's only the colored cities that have the P cards, where every
no,
other
that's
place?
not true. That's
Well,
not
what
true.
other place has those?
I mean, Georgia has 538 cities, and
So what other cities have the P card?
so I can't tell you out of 538 cities how many cities have P cards, but several of them do.
Well,
Everybody has.
several of them. They're all colored. So let me ask this question:
No,
why?
they're not all colored.
Well,
They're not.
there. Why is it then that any of them don't have what the overwhelming majority have, which is the town council or the city council and the mayor recommend, negotiate, get past authorization to do something, and the treasurer issues a check that the mayor signs off on, and it's evidenced by check? Why do you have this credit card instead of paying by check? So there's careful accounting, and people just don't have the authority to go spend on their own without any control other than after the fact. What is this?
So no, we do have policies in place.
Policies.
We have district budgets. We do have policies in place. He did not follow the policy. And at the end of the day, we are adults.
No, that's not what I'm saying. If you have a governmental setup where the treasurer issues the checks and the checks are only issued by the treasurer, you don't have this problem. So how is it that your city operates when you have people that can independently, without checking with anybody, spend the municipality's money and then come back and attempt to justify it after the fact? How does that occur?
So every city operates different. This is something typical. We're not unique in with city council people or elected officials having P cards. We're not unique in that essence.
Well, you may not be unique, but let me ask you another question so you see where I'm going. Which one of the other P card cities or municipalities in Georgia is not having problems?
I can't say that because it's a widespread problem. You see it all the time.
Yeah,
you see it all the time.
With a P card I checked has a problem. So why is that?
Because people are not honest. Some people are not honest.
Since they're not honest and you know that, why do you persist in the P card instead of having a treasurer write a check that is recorded in an accounting that people can keep track of, and only one person spends money or buys the tickets or pays for the tickets or pays for the hotel accommodations, instead of everybody being able to go out and charge this kind of way?
So if you will allow me to answer, Judge Brown, at the end of the day, we take an oath. We are supposed to be good stewards of taxpayers' dollars. And if people don't do what they're supposed to do, then there's ramifications behind that. Everybody doesn't have to. I understand what you're saying, and some cities operate like that, but a lot of cities do not. And when people do not, his P card has been cut off. There are consequences when you don't do what you're supposed to do.
Oh, yeah. Why would you have a Sheriff LaButte who's got that bond problem, Fannie Willis, who testified and incriminated herself in money laundering and fraud, misappropriation of funds, and the mayor of Fulton County exists, and all kinds of questions with other people involved?
I can't speak to the county because I'm not in the county. I can only talk about the city of South Fulton. I cannot speak to the county because that is a different municipality. It is in the county.
Municipality, county, state. Now,
it is in the county, but the county has.
I'm not getting on you. I'm talking about your.
Yes, I understand, but I'm trying to explain to you that the county has 15 different cities, and we have our own autonomy, and so the county don't control what we do.
So
you have your own autonomy, but everybody's been complaining. about the overt fraud and misappropriation of funds in South Fulton as a municipality. We have been researching the fraud and misappropriation of funds in Fulton County. So one small part, one big part, and then you get to the state, and the state is trying to desperately get a hold of what's happened down there with the colored folk. So why is it that I see all across the country, Chicago, New York, Memphis, other places, Los Angeles, where you get black opportunity, because black folk are in charge, they wind up oppressing their own people, and what they deal with is, instead of progress, they need to deal with punishment for criminal activity.
And Judge O'Brien, I'm going to say I totally agree with you. You know,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just making a point that you can't make.
And one of the things I gave pushback on that. You know, he touted that we're the blackest city. He touted that we were in Black History Month. He touted that we were an all black council, and I gave pushback on that. And I said, and I told him he took his black behind over to Ghana and misused tax funds and did not tell us where he was going. I gave pushback at just because we're black. I mean, to me, we're African American, and we should strive to walk in excellence. We should strive to show people that we can, stand up and we can operate with good governments. And a lot of us can. Most of my colleagues on city council, we do what we're supposed to do. We don't have these infractions. He's the only one that.
Let me interject this, because he's been mayor for 8 years. So if he is such a problem, why is it that us now, the public, we're just starting to hear about this when it comes to the media? Also, the mayor, he doesn't have no indictments, and he doesn't have any criminal charges as mayor. So it's not like, this man is under indictment. So anything that is going on
that's not true.
What indictments does he have? Or
he has been charged with burglarizing someone's house. That charge is still pending.
Yeah, he does. He has a pending.
So that's a pending charge, but he has not been found guilty.
He has not. It's pending. He's been charged. He was arrested. That made national news. He has a.
And that was 2 years ago?
Yes, he's been charged with a felony, and he has a misdemeanor. He's out on bond.
But why is he still being reelected then?
I mean, because you have to be indicted. You have to be indicted in order.
Okay, so he has no indictment. So now, back in 2022, let me say this. Back in 2022, he came out with being a whistleblower going against the city council of Fulton. So now, fast forward with all this other stuff coming out, Ghana and P cards and everything, and he's already been charged with a felony. Is this some type of retribution towards him because he tried to out the city council? It seemed like 8 years, and this mayor is not getting along with the city council, which is bad for the city.
It's bad for the city. And no, this is not, if you recall and you do the research, we sued him. So no, this is not something we had to sue him and get an injunction against him to prevent him from recording our executive session discussions. He was recording executive session discussions, and he was divulging that information, and we actually had to take him to court. There's a lawsuit pending in Fulton County Superior Court now against him. So no, this is not an isolated incident. This has been problems that has persisted. You ask why are we here now? We didn't know he was doing this. Again, this information was revealed from an engaged resident. This was an open record request. So it wasn't like we were digging for this information. We found out about this information because a resident put this out. And when a resident put it out, and the questions that was coming from residents, where is he going with all of these international? We started looking into it. We presented it. We asked the city manager. We asked the city attorney. When something is presented to the city attorney, it is her job to work with the CFO and look into matters. And that's when she came back to the council and said, look, from what we see, some of the charges are questionable. We need to do a forensic audit, but we also think it's wise to do a compliance audit on everyone who has a P card to see that, to make sure that, to see if we have
everybody is not.
Right.
Everybody's doing it.